CFMA, Construction Financial Management Association's brand new podcast featuring conversations with our members. I'm your host, Kate Platt, CFMA's marketing coordinator. This month, I'm joined by Chief Financial Officer of Grow Construction LLC out of Portland, Oregon, and Certified Construction Industry Professional, Patsy Anderson-Dunn. Thanks for joining me, Patsy.
Thanks for having me, Kate.
So let's just get right into this and start with, how exactly did you get into construction finance?
Well, it's a story from birth, I guess. My parents met in Alaska, and my dad is a master mason from Germany and came to the States when he was 21. He went to Alaska, sponsored by a priest up here, because there was work here, and so started doing things. And my mom was a student at University of Washington, and she came up to Alaska to make money in the summer to make enough to finish her college tuition as an accountant. The joke is in Juneau, Alaska, is that the first coffee break my dad ever took was the day that my mom walked into Mike's place to be a waitress. He was doing Marblecrete. I don't know if you remember that old style, the plaster outside where they throw the rocks and it sticks, outside, and watched my mom walk in and went and had coffee. So the rest is history. They're still married and griping at each other today. So, and started a general contractor and a masonry business. So you can say I came by it honestly, and all the years that we spend saying we're not going to say or do what our parents do. I'm now a construction accountant, a combination of both. Help my mom in the office. I can lay bricks and I can grout fireplaces, and also balance the books. So that is truly how I got there from the very beginning. I love construction finance because I love to be able to see the things being built and match the numbers to the things that are being built. One of my favorite activities when you get someone new in the office, or new AP or new AR, or just anybody in there, to take a random trip, throw everybody in the car, go out to the job site and say, hey, you paid that invoice. How much did that concrete cost? Or remember those trusses that you said, holy cow, blah, 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 they cost this much? There they are out there. Super fun to have the reality of it, and also neat for the guys to see us out there making that connection, as well as bring them out there in a good, rainy, horrible day when, you're trying to always get the receipts from the field. The field doesn't want to get them to you. They're driving you crazy. They laugh because you're out there in the rain, because you're the office guys, and they hand you the wet receipts, and then we all remember why sometimes we don't get the receipts.
Oh boy.
So super, I love it, and I love seeing it done and knowing that I'm part of creating a thing, even if it's getting the finances to the bank to get the financing to build the thing. So it's in my blood.
Truly, that is an amazing journey. How did you get involved with CFMA?
So I had my own construction business with a husband, and the market fell out. The husband fell out, you know how those things go. And I had a practice of a whole bunch of other small contractors that I worked with, from referrals from banks and bonding companies that we worked with when we were building subdivisions. And they would say, can you help another small contractor? Can you help another small contractor? You kind of get this, which makes sense the way I grew up and what I did, and picked up some clientele. And I was at the point the market dropped, my clients were getting too big, and we were at a point where we needed to do some transition. Ran into an old friend and joined a public accounting firm on the consulting side and built their construction practice. So through that, obviously, public accounting get to take advantage of a lot more resources. And so they said, go look at this CFMA thing. And I walked out of the meeting as part of the board, and I thought, these are my people. This is a fabulous education opportunity for me, a networking opportunity for me, just people that don't mind putting on boots and people that understand numbers. And there was so much growth and opportunity. And I truly believe that the people that are attracted to CFMA are the best of the best, super intelligent, and not only that, friendly, open arms, check competition at the door. Couldn't be a better group to get involved with. I felt it from day one, and it has not let me down, you know, and that was, shall we say, a few years ago.
You are not the first person to tell me that someone brought them to a meeting and walked out a full-fledged, on board with everything, in love with CFMA. This seems to be a common theme with our members of just really finding a group of people that they love to be with.
Yeah, I joke, and I mean this in the most positive way, is I drank the Kool-Aid, I served the Kool-Aid, I'll throw the Kool-Aid at you, because it, you know, Hawaiian Punch is fun. It's great. So
it's even better when it's useful for your career.
Work-life blend, not balance. I don't know if you can ever balance it, but if you can blend it and you have the resources of education and connections in the field and enjoying them and having some of that be part of your social life, and you're blending it too, what a fabulous combination.
Can't ask for anything more.
No.
So what is your favorite project that any one of your companies has worked on, that you've been a part of, that you look back and think, wow, I helped do this?
So when I can tell you exactly, it was a few years back, and I worked, I was a CFO for a design build company, and it's called Pine Street Market. It's opened, I guess, in 2016, and it's in downtown Portland, which is where I'm based out of, and it's in a historic building. It's called the Carriage and Baggage Building, or was the Carriage and Baggage Building, and it has it features 9 of Portland's best chefs. There's some Michelin chefs in there. Wow. And it's in a casual open layout. It's almost like a food court, but the way it's angled is they're directed at different, like their stands and their restaurants are directed in a different way. So, you know, and then in the center, they do shared services, dishwashing, plates, tables, busing, and you can go to Pollo Bravo, and they have what I kind of call it a brand extension. So they pick their 3 or 4 favorite dishes and they put it down in the Pine Street Market, and you can get that. Or you can go to Olympic Provisions and get a charcuterie tray, or you can go to, there's a Israeli street food, and they have bars and drinks that are associated with their foods, and then you sit in the center, kind of picnic family style, and you get to eat. It's very community based. It's long tables. It's 9 amazing restaurants. I don't know if you've heard of Salt and Straw, is a famous ice cream place. So you walk around, and what we like to do is get 10 people go, everybody hits a restaurant, and we come back to the middle and we share, and you have some just fabulous foods. But the Horse and Carriage building it's a historical site. It was built in 1886, and it was really truly built as a livery and a horse-drawn carriage storage facility, like a parking garage for horses. And upstairs on the very top were 4 massive tanks for water for the horses. Well, those got turned into 4 cell phone towers for the different cell phone providers. They still look like the water towers, but they're truly strong signals in the middle of downtown Portland to provide, well, welcome to, you know, current, but still have that historical look. It's been different things over years, and it sat for probably the last 5-6 years before we redid it. But ironically, when we opened up the 3rd floor, there was hay still in it, and there was a huge horse elevator. Now, when I'm talking about a horse elevator, I'm talking about 4 horses and a carriage, and it had the huge cranks, and it could pull up the horses and the carriages to the levels and pull them up. So it's huge, and all that was still in there in an atrium, and that remains. And so the upstairs rental has that carriage elevator sunk a little, and it's a sunken area in their office where they do meetings. So it's a taste of longtime Portland. It preserves history, and then the amazing food. We're a foodie culture in Portland. Is super fun. It's still in the National Registry of Historical Places, and it's got, you can see they open up the beams, and it's these massive Doug firs from years gone by, 1886 when they built it. You can see it. We retrofitted it for seismic upgrades for the big earthquake that will be coming in Portland at some point in some year. Hope I'm not there, but just a really cool combination of some great construction to seismic upgrade, leaving it as a historical building, preserving the horse and carriage elevator, and bringing a taste of Portland. So if you ever come there, it's 2nd and Pine. Look it up on the internet, Pine Street Market. It's just cool. It's Portland. It's very cool.
So you've been a part of quite a few projects. You've lived many lives based on everything you've told me here. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Ask questions and sit back and listen. I think I know that's the best piece of advice. Don't be afraid to ask a question. Wonder, be curious, always be learning, but don't forget to listen to the answers. Don't forget to listen to others, absorb, and just be aware of your surroundings. It's, we're always learning, and listening is learning, right? You never know what you're going to hear. Ask questions and listen.
And is this the advice you give to someone new in the industry, or do you also impart other pearls of wisdom?
Well, I throw that like I throw the Kool-Aid. So yes, I absolutely do. I think that is the best advice, and it served me well. And I guess with the ask questions, I might also add, don't be afraid to speak up. And if you speak up and are wrong, use it as a lesson and move on. So, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you learn from those. Life lessons aren't so bad, right?
And before we let you go here, September is Suicide Prevention Month, and I was hoping you'd share your story about getting involved with the Construction Industry Alliance for Suicide Prevention and all the important work that you and they do.
So, Kate, you obviously know this is my passion for many reasons. For the people out there that don't know, I have 2 children. I have 5 actually. I have 2 children. I adopted 3, and I lost one to suicide. He was in low voltage wiring at his uncle's house in Ohio, and was coming across the coast because he called and said, "Mom, I want to come home." And I said, "Sure. Do you want to sketch you? Do you want me to send a brother? Do you want me what? Oh no, I'll be home. But before he got home, and truly he came to one town away, I lost him. He died by suicide in a park 3 miles from my house. And so I truly believe he came home for me to take care of him. And it was heart-wrenching, and I didn't have the resources, and I didn't know. And it's one of those things you bury and you stuff and you can't believe. And as a mother, you why me, and you wonder, and you just question. And I'm sure the whole world knows Cal Beyer, and he's a dear friend of mine, and I love him. And I was at actually a CFMA strategic board meeting planning event for a year. And one of the things we had seen at National is his human capital presentation. And I thought, this is a great presentation. We should try to get it in Portland. And so I had text Cal. I was like, hey, can you come down and do this? Bring your wife, stay with me. We'll go do, favor and come on. And he's like, sure, but would you do me a favor? The answer to Cal is always, well, yes, of course. What would you like me to do? Now, the significance of this day is 1 year and 1 day to the day I lost my son.
Oh, wow.
And he said, would you do a suicide prevention summit? So as I suddenly start to sob and put my head on the table in the middle of the board meeting, which is, you know, kind of cool for a tough construction chick that throws the F-bomb like it's sprinkles, I was losing my mind. And I'm like, yes, how did you know? Because I didn't tell anyone, right? Because the stigma and all those things, right? All the things I'm fighting so hard to get rid of now. And he's like, no, what? I'm like, that I lost Brian. He's like, what? Not understanding. So he's like, no, I have your Christmas card. I'm like, Cal, go look at it. It's a Christmas card from last year. I didn't send one this year because I just couldn't. So he's yelling at Chris's wife and, oh, you know, no, it is from last year. And I told him the story and he's like, why didn't you call? I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't call anyone. I feel horrible as a, you know, quote unquote stepmom. I feel horrible as a mom. I feel, why didn't I know? What if? And that was a day and a gift from God. And I decided to take all that pain and all that yuckiness and all that stuffing and turn it into a passion for this. So it truly is personal for me and becomes more and more personal every day as we help others and find out more. And if I knew what I knew now before, I maybe could have made a difference. But here's what I do know is every day I share, every day I speak, every day I make the effort to do this, maybe I'm saving someone else's son. Maybe I'm saving someone else's husband. Maybe I'm just helping someone to have a better life, which makes this world a better place. And I know that's awful squishy and soft, but it truly is. And so I was blessed with the opportunity of doing a suicide prevention summit. We have done 3, planning our 4th. I am working with Dave. We're going to do a train the trainer, so we have more people speaking on it. We in Oregon are very active on this, and I'm lucky to work with Lines for Life, which is a national suicide prevention number. You'll see it out everywhere, and the state of Oregon and just all kinds of providers, all the big contractors in Portland. We are starting, we don't have an official name yet, but it's, you know, currently the Oregon Suicide Prevention Coalition for Construction or something. I don't even remember what it is, but we have some big players, and we are replicating some of the stuff that we're not replicating, we're trying to work in conjunction with the CIFP, Construction Industry Alliance for Suicide Prevention, to get some materials, see what they have, see what other things they need or what our cause needs, and get it out. We're doing, we have OSHA Oregon's, OSHA and the state and the county and all kinds of people to get this out, a branding and education. And so that's how I got involved. And construction, I think if you've heard anything about it or listened to any presentation, and if not, and you haven't, go to, you know, the CISP website or CFMA's website, or hell, call me up. I'll be glad to talk your ear off and hopefully impart some wisdom. And there certainly are a ton of resources and tool talks and all kinds of great things out there now. And we are such a great industry to be primed for this with, you know, doing safety talks and whatnot. Just as a general construction practice, you know, the health of the mind is as important, if not more important, than the health of the body. So we have a conduit directly to our people, and, you know, stomp out the stigma and get rid of the bad thoughts, you know, especially in this current world. There's a lot more pressures. If it was bad before, it's worse now. And know that there's people out there, there's resources out there. So, you know, it's my passion. It's very personal to me, and I've seen some amazing results over the years working on this. I'm excited that we have people out there that are not only interested in proponents it's always great to do a presentation and watch people's faces. I know this is going to sound terrible, turn white and their mouths drop open. And then as they recover from the initial shock of, holy cow, how real is this? To see their minds start turning and think about, oh, I have been touched by this, or oh, I did see this, or what about this, what about that, and you know, start to become that proponent for the cause. So, and just truly make this world and our industry a better, safer place for, you know, for all of us.
It's amazing what you personally have done, what CIASP has been doing, and we can't thank you enough for all of the effort and how honest you've been and how open you've been, because this can't work without people like you.
And I'm so lucky to be able to do this. Like I said, this the day that Cal and I talked was a huge trajectory in my life to take a lot of pain and turn it into a lot of, I don't know if happiness is the right word, but passion or positive, but it was an opportunity that I truly needed and am so blessed to have. So thank you for everyone who listens.
You're really giving a lot of people some hope and some answers. So
yeah, I hope so.
Thank you for joining us for this month's edition of Voices of CFMA. I can't thank you enough for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure and so glad to be here.
Thanks for listening. If you're interested in getting involved with suicide prevention or need resources and education on the topic, please visit preventconstructionsuicide.com. That's all for this time. Join us next month when we sit down with Yvette Aubin to talk about her career and her experiences in construction finance. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe and share on social media.